live. Welcome to the Daily Whenever. Whoa, I'm Dana Dubois.
I'm Lawrence Winterman, and we've got our favorite guest, one of our favorite guests back, the Opinionated Ogre.
Woo, hello. Absolutely our favorite sock puppet.
Our favorite sock puppet guest, yes.
Hands down, no question, our favorite. And I am so happy.
I'm actually in disguise today, in case someone tries to dox me. It's a completely different puppet.
Would you look at that? You've aged.
It's a little Albert Einstein. It's a little like Cornelius West. Is that his name?
Cornel West?
Cornel West, yes.
This is interesting. It says we're live, but I don't see us on the site, and I don't see anybody joining.
No, there are people joining.
Are there?
I can see it streaming in. Yeah.
Okay, good. It's just me then. Y'all, we're back in our old interface. We're here going directly through directly through Substack's streaming live mechanisms here. Restream was a 5-day experiment, Lawrence? Well,
Yeah,
4 really, because we don't broadcast on Sunday. I'm really glad we tried it. I'm really impressed by how quickly you learned a new technology and taught it. But it doesn't have the features that we need most around connection, which is what this is all about.
It doesn't do what we most needed to do. And the bells and whistles were cool, but they weren't like game-changing enough that we decided that we had to keep it. So here we are, back on the regular Substack Live tool on our phones.
It feels so good. Oh, yes. Here, now I see it. I'm in the chat. It's strange on my phone. It's showing that we're alone. In fact, it's showing just one, like it's just me. But when I'm on my laptop, I can see there are people joining. So thank goodness. Hello, all. We're Opinionated Ogre. What happened to your hair? Did you just
I don't know who Opinionated Ogre is. My name is the Pleasant Ogre. That's somebody else. That person is not here.
Okay.
And is that why you're foaming at the mouth, or is that a mustache?
That's my beard.
Oh yeah, no, the beard.
I'm a neck beard.
Should have forgive me. Like should recognize like. Yes, that is. Yeah, it's a good look on you, whoever you are, not the Opinionated Ogre.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Does this mean no swearing today?
I would never use such language. I am a gentleman.
Lawrence, Lawrence. Who is this?
I think it's Twain. I think it's Opinionated Twain.
I do declare.
I do declare. I've never spent a winter so cold as summer in San Francisco. Ha ha!
Ogre, blink twice. Blink twice if you're very
407 years ago.
Ogre, you brought disguises.
Well, that's how I keep the trolls from figuring out who I am.
Yeah, that's very apropos to our topic today, and well done. We never would have recognized you in any of those guises.
Same. I mean,
yeah. This is the little hat that I learned how to make at Otakon this weekend.
Nice.
They had a hat making panel, and it was like, oh look, I can make a little hat now! Yay!
That's actually a great freaking hat. So very nice, very nice. Well done.
Yeah, it's perfect for today. It's like they knew we were going to be talking about doxing, internet safety, disguises.
I sense an Etsy shop in your future, Ogre, making a little hat.
Oh, if I could figure out where my daughter put hers, I'd show it to you. It's gorgeous. It's so much better than mine. Mine is terrible. Hers looks great.
Nice. Well, you know,
maybe next time I'll pull it out next time and show it to you.
Oh my gosh. As a mom of artistic daughters, I get that, where you're like, I made a thing, and they're like, I effortlessly made this more beautiful thing than you did.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, mine looks like trash next to yours. Thanks.
Yes, Morgan is saying your lighting is wildly improved, Dana. The plague office gave you jaundice. I know. I had ring lights, but that basement where I was broadcasting from, which is a lot quieter and has more privacy than where I am now in my living room. Yeah, I couldn't get the lighting right. I was already starting to look into like these massive lights and repainting that dark wall. But in the end, it doesn't matter. My phone doesn't work down there because it's the basement. So I am back in my living room and I feel like my old self. I did look very jaundiced for the last 4 days.
It wasn't a great look. It wasn't a
It was
great look.
not.
You were nearly as green as Ogre.
Right? It was
Hey,
not great. Hey, we're not picking on you. It's with love.
I mean, the green looks
You're a
lovely on
beautiful
you,
shade.
Ogre. Your complexion is great.
You're starting to get more facial expression, and I'm so here for it. Um, here's a question that doesn't have to do with doxing. Have you had to um, rebuild your face? Have you had any reconstructive work done? I won't tell the tabloids. Or is this just still your original, the face you were born with?
no. This is the same one. I just put it in the drawer to keep it hidden from the cats. Otherwise, this would have been shredded by now.
You know what? I understand that. My puppet that I made for our first show together, Ogre, the cats found it, and he is not the same, shall we say. He permanently bears a somewhat traumatized look on his face, like he's
Oh,
seen
no.
some things.
As a good puppet should. Oh my gosh. Karen in the chat is very sad because she missed Friendly
She missed
Ogre's
the
hat,
hat.
and I'm wondering if you could put it back on for Karen. Karen,
Oh,
oh, there you go,
it's
Karen.
so good. That's such a good hat.
That's amazing. You're instantly recognizable as Lincoln. It's amazing.
Right. The resemblance is uncanny, honestly.
I reject the Republican Party that I founded.
Right? Can you
Right?
imagine?
Yes,
Oh my
sir.
God! Can you?
Please
He
stop
would just
spitting
be
in
like,
your
he would be
grave.
appalled. He would be appalled by the Republican Party right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely appalled. Um,
But
so
according to
today,
Trump, most people don't know that Lincoln was a Republican. That's what he said in a speech the other day. But Lincoln was a Republican. Most people don't know that.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah. No, you're
okay.
right. Most people don't know that Lincoln founded the Republican Party. You
the thing
fucking
is,
moron.
he might be right because our education system is the general dumbing down of our populace. I'll give him that one. Actually,
Ugh.
I give him very little, but I might give him that one.
You
Um,
know what? I'm moving to the New California Republic, whose flag I am wearing today. So there you go.
I love it. I love it, Lawrence. Can I join you there?
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
But I
California.
heard California's been burned to the ground by all the illegal immigrants and Antifa and Black Lives Matter.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and Seattle too. I mean, we're just a liberal hellhole here. They like fentanyl comes up through the kind of like through the sewer system, so it's like steaming into the streets, and we're all in a fentanyl haze here.
Well, I heard it rains down from Canada because all the fentanyl's coming from Canada now.
Right. Yeah.
It
Because
comes in
of
from the smoke in the summer too, so we get it
right.
when it's raining or when it's hot and clear, and the smoke
That
rolls in.
damn
So,
Mark Carney. Rah! How dare you stand up to Trump?
right, right.
Okay.
It is all like that, and I'm going to do the little conversation pivot and say we're here today to talk about a very important topic that's increasingly relevant in today's divisive online culture: doxing and internet safety. And we're here talking to a sock puppet. So the question of anonymity is already front and center. Ogre, you were
Let the
on last week,
meta wash over you. The whole meta-ness of it all.
right?
A sock
And
puppet on the internet talking
talking
about
about
anonymity.
internet safety. And so one thing, there were two thoughts that came to my mind in prepping for the intro for this. One was how, and I mean this as the highest compliment. There are aspects of the way you share your experience with trolls online that I mostly see, that's very feminine to me. I mostly see women calling out bad behavior online, mostly from men. But I see you doing it all the time, and I think I think it's great. I think it's important to shine a light on what the underbelly looks like for those who don't see it. Um, and the flip side of that is it makes you less safe because you are not just having trolls. Ogre, you are elevating your trolls and then your Ogre smash trolls with your words
Yeah,
online, and that naturally makes
I'm
you
mean
less.
about that.
Yeah.
You are
It's a
very
good
mean about
rope-a-dope.
that. And so, I completely understand and respect why you have a lot of anonymity around your online presence. Because the second thought I had was what courage it takes to show up with your own name and or your face online. Um, and I was thinking of that especially, because a week or so ago, I was talking well, I won't get too much into all of that, but I've been stalked before, and I know it's uncomfortable. And so there are certain topics that when I talk about them, I do go like, wow, I don't know who's watching. You never know who's watching or reading you. So taking those two things together, let's lead with a question here of let's start off with why are you an ogre? Why
Well, I wasn't
what steps do you take?
until January,
And you
or
missed that
December.
drop.
It's either December or January is when I had to switch it to the opinionated ogre.
Oh, you're so
Um,
young. You're not even a year old yet.
I know I'm a baby ogre. Um,
Sure.
I've been I've been writing under my own name for a really really long time. Um, but um, when Trump won the election, won,
Sorry.
won,
This still
won.
Right.
happens every time. Like the hairball
Um,
comes up and I gag. Sorry.
yeah, my wife works in the federal government, and it occurred to me that we were heading towards a fully fascist government. And I knew like I didn't know it was going to be as bad as it is right now, as quickly as it's going to get, but I knew it was going to get really bad. Like I had no illusions of that. So it occurred to me that if I was going to keep writing, that perhaps I might want to make myself disappear. Um, because even though my wife doesn't do politics at work and we don't discuss it out in public and she doesn't discuss it with coworkers, they would absolutely fire her if they decided, if they were like, "Oh, hey, there's this person and his
Right.
wife works in the government. You're fired."
Right.
Um so cuz that's just who they are. That's how they
Yeah.
operate. So I nuked myself from the internet. I removed my name from as much as I could, and I hired one of those services that just erases you.
I
Wow.
was just about to ask that question. You, uh, do you feel comfortable saying the name of it? Because there's one that I've seen advertised by Miss Frazzled, who's one of my favorite content creators.
The
Um,
service? I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I
Well,
don't
the
think
one I
they
use is Optery. It's
Optus.
Optery. And they're pretty good because I'm really hard to Google now. Like I look for myself, I'm really hard to find. I know what to look for, and I have trouble finding myself now.
That's
Um,
amazing. And Damon in the chat says we use Delete Me. I'm pretty sure that's the one that Miss Frazzled is pushing. Anyone wants to sponsor the show, you can hit us up. I'm teasing, but she is. They picked a really good spokesperson. I don't know if you guys follow Mrs. Frazzled. Miss Frazzled. She's the catch a bubble, the one who's like, no, no, no. She talks to politicians in her kindergarten voice because she's a kindergarten teacher. She's very funny. And she,
I feel like I've seen that before, but
yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure who you're talking about. But I feel like if I saw, I was like, oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, she's pretty big, both on Substack and on other social platforms, TikTok and Instagram Reels and all of that. But she also gets like actual legislators on to talk about educational issues. So she's both funny and informative and got doxxed pretty badly. So they got a very good spokesperson. And in my mind, I was like, uh, um, do I need one of these? Do they really work? Is it worth the money? You're saying it works ridiculously well.
Yeah. I'm like I said, because I used to be very, very easy to find online, and now not so much. And again, I know what to look for. Like I know where to look for my information, and it's like, oh yeah, no, it's way harder to find now than it used to be. And I'm not thrilled about that. Like I,
Yeah.
so when I first started writing, way back in the day, I was on Facebook, and I had my Facebook account, and I started writing, and I did not anticipate anyone giving a rat's ass about what I was writing because, who was I? I was just some schmuck. And some of the stuff I started writing started going viral, and I started getting a lot of people coming to my Facebook account. And I was like, oh, that's nice. People will give friend requests, and it turned into a couple dozen people. Then it turned into a couple of hundred people. Then it turned to a couple of thousand people. And I was like,
Oh.
okay, this is getting out of control because then the trolls started coming. And now this was my personal Facebook account. So I had all my family pictures on there. This is when my kids were like, 2 years old, 3 years old. And they started, the trolls, because they're trolls, started saying some really, really creepy shit about my kids.
Oh.
Right. And I was like, oh, okay, hold on. Yeah, I can't have this.
Yeah.
So I made a second Facebook account. And this was back when Facebook did not like you doing that, but I did it anyway. So I had a public account where I didn't have pictures, any family pictures, and I had the private one that I shifted everyone over. It's like, if you're following me for my politics stuff, go over here. And I made my private one private, like you couldn't access it unless I invited you, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But over time, I kept writing and I kept having a following and people knew who I was and blah, blah, blah. And after a while, it was like, you know what? I got really, really good at dealing with trolls. They would
Mhm.
pop up and they would say mean things. And I got like, I am, I'm not a very nice person when someone pokes at me.
Yeah.
And I started getting to the point where it's like, you know what? If you're a troll and you're an asshole, I do not have any any feelings whatsoever. Like I don't have any mercy for you. I have no pity for you. And I started getting really, really fucking hostile. It was like, why am I being nice? Why am I holding back? Why am I treating you like a real person? You're showing
Right.
up and you're saying all this nasty shit.
Yeah.
You're a fucking monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm going to
I
stomp on you. And
yes.
I started doing that. And once the trolls started showing up and I started squashing them, like I started getting really fucking hostile. Not just like screaming, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, because like that don't work because that's what they want.
Right.
I started getting really fucking malicious. Like I don't go looking for people to troll because I don't need
Yeah.
to and I
Right.
don't
They come to
want
you.
to.
Right.
But if they show up, it's like, well, I'm going to hurt you now. You came here to be annoying. And a lot of times I tell them, it's like, you should leave because if you don't, I'm going to hurt you. I'm
Do
warning
they
you.
ever listen? Do they ever listen, Ogre?
Nope. But,
Of course
I,
they
I
don't.
warned, right? I gave them a warning. It's like,
Right.
all right, but you can't say I didn't warn you. I'm going to hurt you now.
I love that this is like your mutant superpower that you're like I'm gonna hurt you. You should back off. I can't control this thing that you're about to unleash.
It's
And
like,
then they get the radioactive ogre Hulk smash beatdown.
yeah, well, it's gotten worse over time. It's like, the more fascist and Nazi they became, it's like, well, now I really, really don't have to care about your feelings.
Right.
It's like, if you're a fucking
Right.
fascist, well, then you deserve everything I'm about to do to you. And now I take, I mean, I used to enjoy it. Now I just take all kinds of just absolute joy and glee in crushing these people because, they're awful. They're the worst people imaginable. So why wouldn't I enjoy stomping on them? But I didn't mind them knowing my name because, it was like, oh, I'm going to find you, blah, 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 blah. And it was like,
Right.
bitch, show up on my doorstep. For some reason, they always have this weird image of liberals as like these scrawny little tiny people. And it's like, Motherfucker, I'm 6'1" and well over 200 pounds, and a lot of that's muscle. You could
Right.
show up at my door, and I've got a metal baseball bat. Unless you're packing a gun, that's not going to go the way you think it is. But
Yeah. Same.
hey,
Metal
you know
baseball
what?
bat in the corner, waiting for somebody to show up.
Yeah, it's like
Exactly.
you think whatever you want to think about how tough and manly you are. That always doesn't, that's going to fall apart when you see me opening that door and you're going to go, oh shit, I have to look up at this guy. Fuck. So I was never worried about that, but that's the luxury of being a guy, right? That's why I was never worried about that when they got trolled and they tried to, because God knows a whole bunch of people have been trying to dox me for years. For some reason, they can never quite figure out where I lived. Some of them figured out what city I was in, but they can never figure out exactly where I lived, although they kept trying. Like I used to piss people off. And it was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And they would try to list like, oh, you live here. Oh, you live here. Oh, you live here. And I was like, yeah, none of that's correct. But, don't let that stop you from trying, buddy. But that's a luxury I have as a guy. For women, of course, it's a much more implicit, not even implicit, it's an explicit threat
Right.
for women.
Has
So
anyone ever showed up at your house or, like done a drive-by or anything like that?
no, but the closest I ever got to that was like 13 years ago. Um, me and my wife had a friend from college. His name was Mike Marsh, and we didn't know he was like a hardcore Republican when we knew him in college.
Mm,
But after we had left and we'd gone our separate ways, we were in contact on Facebook, and he just came way out of the Republican closet, and he was just like, this is before MAGA, right? This was Trump wasn't around yet, and he was just like this hardcore racist asshole. We were like, whoa, where did that come from? But
Ouch.
I had been arguing with him online for a couple of years at this point, and we kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And this is before I was like really, really into the politics. Like I wasn't really doing it yet, but we kept going back and forth, right? And oop, oop. And it didn't go well for him, right? The more knowledgeable I got, the worse it got for him because, well, he's a Republican, which means he doesn't actually know shit.
right.
So eventually I just blocked him because I was like, I can't anymore. It's like, like I'll argue with random people, but it's like, this is someone I knew in real life. And it was just really sad to see this happen to him. So a year later, this guy shows up on my Facebook and he starts talking actually it was like 2 years later, but he starts talking about about me and my wife. And he starts talking about our jobs and where we went to school and where we used to live. And all the information he's doing out there is a couple of years out of date. Right. And this is before doxing became a real thing.
He's
Like
posting this on Facebook, on your
yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah, like doxing, like the phrase doxing hadn't even been invented yet. So like I'm watching him and I'm like, who is this guy? And why does he know all this information? Why is it all like 3-4 years old? Why is it all out of date? And what is he doing? Right. And we didn't feel threatened because it was like, well, it's all wrong. Right. None of it's correct. Like he doesn't have our current address. He doesn't know where we currently work. So none of it's like, it's like, I'm going to come get you at the place where you no longer are. It's like, ooh, very scary. And so he went on and on and on and on and on. And we're like, oh, is this supposed to be intimidating me in some way? Because none of this information is correct. And I went onto his Facebook profile, which for some reason he had public. It was like, all right, if you're going to be a stalker, you probably should have it private. And I'm digging through his stuff and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Because neither one of us knew who the hell he was. And finally, I found a picture of him and Mike Marsh. And I was like, oh, this motherfucker's friends with Mike Marsh. Mike Marsh has been giving him all this information. Because Mike Marsh apparently was really, really mad because at that point I had been writing articles and some of them had gotten fairly popular and this really, really made Mike Marsh mad. So he sent this guy to come fucking harass me. And it was like, wow.
That's
And
a
then I
hell
went
of
up
a
and I went back
friend.
on and was like, hey, do me a favor, tell Mike Marsh to go fuck himself. And if I ever see him again, I'm going to break his fucking kneecaps. And then he went
With
away.
my baseball bat. Yeah.
Yeah, because now that sort of thing was like, I know who Mike Marsh is in real life, and I might come across him again. And if I do, I'm going to fucking hurt him for trying to do something like that, because that wasn't a threat against me. That was also a threat against my wife. And for that, I would fuck him up in real life. But then the guy just disappeared. And that was the end of that. But it was like, wow. So that's how Republicans are. I see.
That's yeah, that's wild. I'm sorry that that happened to you. What year was this all happening? I could tell it was in the past, and you
This was like 2013,
okay,
2014.
so
So this was like way back when.
it
This
really
is
was.
as Obama derangement syndrome was taking hold amongst the far right.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh, he hated Obama. It was like,
Of course he did.
okay, but why? And he couldn't say it because he was black.
Oh, I'm sorry that that happened to you. I'm glad it led to a sense of safety. And I'm also in my head thinking like, wow, you're really right. It is different for men and women, and I hate it. I this is slightly tangential, but it speaks to that same idea of feeling safe at home. Um, a few nights ago, my older daughter, who can drive, she's 17, was out with her friend, pulled up to the house about 11 to come home and texted me, um, "There's a weird guy in front of our house again." This is something that happens somewhat regularly. We live in this not that often, but it has happened before that in our lovely little neighborhood, there is a pretty large homeless population. I'm assuming that was what this guy was, but he was kind of yelling and swearing. And between the two of us, I was like, should I come out to get you? Do you want to come in the other entrance? Because we live on a corner. What do you want to do? And it took a solid 5-10 minutes to figure out how to get my kid from outside into the house. Because there was one dude there, and I was like, "I could take that dude probably, like, this I'm probably making a bigger deal out of this than I need to, but, like, I'm pretty petite." And it was like, we're a house of femmes, and how vulnerable that can feel even though I don't walk through my life feeling scared. And I think that's a good parallel for my internet life of, like, obviously, Lawrence and I are here every day and often telling some pretty personal stories, certainly sharing our political views. Um, you know, we keep an eye on the chat. There's a lot of names we recognize. Hi, Wendy. We got 2 Wendy threat here today. I love that. Um, but you never know who is there and listening, and what can we do at a baseline to keep ourselves safe online? Because while the threat is different for women, there's also, with the rise of fascism, I would say an equal threat to all genders of, oh, well, if they start disappearing people, it's not hard to figure out behind the scenes who we are, right?
Right.
Uh, I'm getting to a question in there, I swear, of what advice would you have, or what steps do you take to protect yourself against the threat that is far larger than it was in 2013 when your friend came after you?
I mean, I'm in the process of moving my emails and whatnot to Proton email or Proton Mail.
Yeah.
Because that's based in another country. It's protected by privacy laws that the United States cannot get to. Um, I've been cutting down, like, I have to get off of Gmail completely because I don't trust Google at all. Um, I don't, uh, as I try to use a VPN whenever humanly possible. Substack, like when I use text, like I try not to, like I use regular text with my family, but with other people, I use Signal.
Yep.
Because,
Okay.
encrypted. Um, and if I'm discussing anything with, my wife that I would prefer no one to read about, like at her job, we also have a Signal chat for that. Like, we don't discuss politics on the regular text. We discuss that in Signal.
Yep.
Because I don't need them going into her phone and seeing that, what the fuck is Donald Trump doing today, blah, 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 because again, they'll just fire her for that. They have no business going into her phone, but that won't stop them from doing it anyway because they're fucking fascists and they don't believe in the First Amendment.
Right.
But, they can't get into Signal, which I'm sure annoys the shit out of them. Unless, of course, Pete Hegseth is involved, in which case he'll just, have a reporter
it to everybody.
Signal. Yeah. So
I think it's really interesting that, even just a couple months ago, I and a lot of people that I talked to were like, we should use Signal, but is that overkill? And I should use Proton Mail, but is that overkill and a VPN? And now I feel like more and more people are waking up to like, oh yeah, God, I really have to think about active measures to protect myself because it is getting worse faster than, it's not getting worse faster than I expected, but I've always been kind of a doomsayer, right? And I think, Ogre, you're the same way. And, but it's getting as bad as we kind of expected it would be. And like clearly, truly on the way to full on fascism, if not already there, knocking at the door.
Yeah. And none of the American tech companies can be trusted.
Right. Exactly.
None of
all
them.
of them have clearly bent over and filleted Trump. So, I don't know. I'm losing my metaphor
They're
there.
either doing it. They're either doing it to protect their bottom line, or they're doing it because they see fascism as their ticket to getting what they want.
Right. The corporate feudalism, where we're all basically working for the company store. And I'm in the, Apple and Coca-Cola and Ford automobile, section of the economy. I am not allowed to drink Pepsi or use Google or, whatever crazy future we're heading for.
Yeah, there's a podcast. I don't know if you guys have listened to it at all, called Dystopia Now.
I've heard about that.
I have.
They really lay out exactly how fucking crazy the Silicon Valley tech bros are. Like, they really do see themselves as like these leaders who are going to be in control after the governments fall. Like, they just want their own little private tech utopias where they control everything. It's like everything you've ever seen in a shitty sci-fi movie. They saw that and said, yes, I want to be
That's
that
cool.
guy.
This is a playbook.
It's like, okay, but every time you see one of those movies, it ends the same way. The guy sitting in the big chair at the top of the tower dies horribly and everything gets burned down. What makes you think you're going to do a better job and you're not nearly as smart as the guy in the movie? So what the fuck are you doing? But this is why you can't trust any of the fucking tech companies. Any of them.
Yeah.
Jesus, look what Substack's doing now. They're starting to fuck with the newsletters because, there's money involved, and Mark Andreessen is involved with it. Mark Andreessen is a straight up fascist.
Yeah.
So
I know it's tangential to the topic we're talking about today, but I hope we have some time to talk about that, because I know you've actually done some research and like dug into your own numbers and the numbers of other folks and really identified like this is true. Like, everyone is seeing a slowdown in growth, and it's because we're all being throttled by Substack. Yeah. Can you tell us how you feel about that?
Yeah. Can we talk about this now? I feel like this goes hand in hand with doxing and internet safety, because as content creators or even readers, I have this sense that we're all hopping from platform to platform, trying to find our nice our
safe
communities, a safe place to build community and creative expression, and then we find it, and either the algorithm shifts for financial reasons. I'd say, like on Medium, where I think they have positive intent, but like a whole lot of writers left and it's kind of like a stream of content about AI most of the time now, or by AI. So we all came to Substack, and here we are connecting. And now we're seeing content creators like you, who are a few steps ahead of us, saying we're all getting throttled. Would love to hear your insights on that and your thoughts of, are they throttling specific types of content, i.e. left-leaning?
Well, it's hard to tell. Like on Facebook, it was easier to tell that they were throttling certain types of content
Oh, yeah.
because you can see all the right wing stuff still spreading everywhere as like a fucking virus. It's harder to see that on Substack because I don't see the Nazi stuff. Like I know it's there, but I have to go looking for it. Um, which I don't because they're Nazis. Why would I go looking for them?
Right.
Yes.
But blech, bleh. But so what I saw started happening in March, and it was explicitly in March. Is all of a sudden my articles, and it wasn't just me, but articles stopped getting subscribers, and I don't mean paid subscribers, I mean free subscribers.
Right.
I went from getting, 8, 9, 10,000 views on articles to getting 5,000 views on articles. So I was like, I mean, that could happen. But then
Sure.
those same articles stopped getting 20, 30, 40 new subscribers to getting 2 or none. And that happened like overnight. That just happened like someone flicked a switch, which is literally what they did. And that kept happening. And that went on for a week, then 2 weeks, then 3 weeks. And I was like, okay, I didn't change my content. It wasn't like I suddenly switched what I was writing. So that seemed improbable. And then I started asking around to several other people, several other content creators, so newsletters that I know, whose stuff I've been promoting. Because for a while I was doing like the early morning recommended reading, which is I have to get back to doing when I'm awake enough in the morning to do it. But and they said they were seeing the same thing. They were just not getting new subscribers. And the thing that really, really tipped me off, that was like, okay, now I know for a fact they're fucking with us, is when it was like, I don't know, maybe a month ago, Paul Krugman put up an article. It's like, oh yeah, let me just show you how my newsletter is doing. And he showed his growth chart because he started back in December of last year, whereas I started in December 2 years ago. And his growth chart looked exactly the same as mine. It was up, 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 and then flat. And it was like, oh, that's bullshit. Paul Krugman, you're telling me Paul Krugman ran into a wall too, organically?
Right.
Paul Krugman. Yeah. Really?
That
No.
seems
There's
unlikely.
no way.
I just looked. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Lawrence.
You know what this made me think, Ogre, is Dana and I, and I'm sure lots of other people too, like we struggle to figure out how many subscribers we actually have because the numbers fluctuate so much. And like there's such a lag in getting that data, and you saying this made me realize like, oh, maybe the data is so laggy because they're actively manipulating it. They're, really throttling it. And so, we do have 20 people try to subscribe. And then the algorithm on the back end is doing, some calculation to say like, oh, no, we're not going to let all of those people actually subscribe. We got to delete a bunch before we let new people in.
Well, and that's the other thing, right? So even though I'm not getting 20, 30, 40 new subscribers a day, I'm still getting, 3, 4, 5 a day. And at the end of the week, I'm still at the same number that I started the week with, which
That's just
tells
started
me,
happening to us too.
yeah, which tells me they're removing subscribers, which is exactly what Facebook used to do or does. Like, on my public account, I got capped at like 3,000 and change. And it didn't matter how many people followed me. The numbers never went up. And I was like, that's impossible because it's Facebook, right?
Right.
If you have 3,000 people following you and 100 people follow you in a week, what are the chances that 100 people also unfollow you? People don't unfollow. They don't bother. They, once they follow you, they just leave it there forever because it's just, who cares, right? You don't show up in their timeline. They don't bother unfollowing you. It's the same thing on Substack. When you subscribe to somebody, how often do you unsubscribe from them? you generally don't unless they post something that really aggravates you.
Right.
And
Washington
again,
Post.
yeah. Yeah.
What did
But
you
and
say,
again,
Lawrence?
Washington Post.
Washington Post, dead to me. Won't even link to them. Yeah.
yeah, and you know, my posting is pretty consistent. Like I don't post anything like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you posted something so weird and out of character for you." It's like, "No, I've been pretty goddamn consistent for the last year and a half." It's the same general themes. Fuck Republicans, fuck the media, and Israel. Well, you know what? Maybe guys, you probably shouldn't be killing so many people. What the fuck are you doing? And screaming that you hate Jews, also probably not helping. You know, so it's like not really new information. This is what I've been posting for a very long time. So it's not like I'm just posting something new that people are like, oh my God, I have to unsubscribe from this guy. He's crazy. It's the same stuff. So they can't convince me that, you know, the 30 people new subscribers I got this week, I also lost 30 subscribers this
Right.
week.
The
Right.
one
You know,
thing
so
the one thing it could be is, this happened on Medium a lot as I was growing there, is it's AI bots. And so they're purging bots from their membership, and you're losing subscribers with those purges. But
But
I don't feel like AI is, uh, at least not yet, the same kind of problem on Substack as it is or was on Medium, where you'd post a new story on Medium and you'd immediately get 30 or 40 comments like, "Hi, nice writing," that were like clearly just bots trying to generate follow for follows.
yeah, I
So,
haven't seen that in a long time.
yeah.
yeah.
I just want to highlight Wendy's comments in the chat. So Wendy the Druid says, just so you're all aware, this is the beginning of premium Substack. As far as I'm aware, all of that code has already been written, and premium paid for Substack is probably 4 months away. And then she follows up and says, I mean, from what I understand, they're moving to a ghost or beehive model. So it'll be a premium charge against the number of subscribers that you have. And then I kind of asked, do you know this is on the roadmap or already built? And Wendy said, it's been consciously communicated to me from a reliable source. So, well, fuck. That is bad news.
And that means content creators are paying to be on Substack. I'm not on Beehive, so I'm not sure how that
I'm
works.
not sure either, but what I'm inferring from here, and Wendy, correct me if I'm wrong, is that either based on the number of subscribers you have, you will be taxed a percentage of your earnings, or there would be some premium monthly fee. And maybe it's tiered, like the larger number of subscribers that you've got, the more you pay per month kind of thing. But it's, like a bronze, silver, gold kind of thing. I don't know.
Sure. But then wouldn't they be wanting us to get more subscribers so that we
I,
get to,
you know, I,
who
or
knows?
maybe it's that, once this rolls out that and you pay to play, then sure, you're going to get inundated with subscribers. But the people who don't pay to play are going to get, drowned. Wendy
And this
says the
Mhm.
is
assumption that I'm making, Lawrence is making, is correct. Okay, so
I was talking to when I posted about this a couple days ago, Andrew Watkins from For Such a Time as This had commented on it, and I said this is what Facebook did.
right,
It was, organic, right? Build your following, build your following, build your following. Then it's like, hey, pay us money and we'll supercharge how many people you get to follow you, right? They did that back in the day, right? And you can get a huge following. We'll just supercharge you and you blah, blah, blah. And you'll have tens of thousands. And then it was like, oh, hey, now that you got this huge following, you're going to have to pay us to access that following.
God damn it.
And every couple of years, it was, you're going to have to pay us a little bit more if you want to access that. You got those 200,000 people following you and you want to reach them, you're going to have to pay us a little bit more than you were last year. And
Well, and
maybe a little bit more.
this is interesting too, right? Because so Ogre, we just did an experiment for the last week with Restream, and Substack, it doesn't integrate with Substack. Substack says it's in beta, and I just got this weird feeling because we were running into so many problems with it that maybe Substack doesn't really want it to come out of beta. Maybe Substack isn't super thrilled with the idea because if they're trying to create, a walled garden here where they're going to be charging us for the privilege of having and growing audiences, They don't want us restreaming to YouTube and TikTok. They want us here. So interesting the way some of the dots are connecting. Thank you, Wendy, and thank you, Ogre, for sharing information and allowing us to kind of maybe see into the future a little bit, because this is going to impact all of us.
Well, you know what's curious about this? We're already paying them money for every paid subscriber we have. They're getting money from us. It's like, you're going to charge us more money for subscribers. You're already taking money for subscribers. What? What more do you want?
Yeah.
You're already taking what, 10%?
Right. Which is going to put an upward pressure on the amount of money people are going to want to charge for their subscriptions. It's just like tariffs, right? They're going to want to pass it along to the end user, and that's going to create an environment where people, maybe at this point are kind of like, oh, I could spend $5 a month for a couple of people, and suddenly they're going to be like, oh, well, if I'm paying $15 a month for each one of these, I can only do one or two, or none.
I do want to point out that this is not anything that's officially released.
Right.
Hopefully we are getting a scoop here, but we do have to caveat that we're getting a scoop from Wendy. I appreciate your knowledge coming in here, but we have not officially heard these things. They do make sense that this could be the way things are going. And it's not specifically around doxing, and internet safety, but it's perhaps around creative safety and community safety of what an exhausting thing if every couple years we're having to reform community, right? I still have a Facebook page, and I know that is questionable with Mark Zuckerberg's intent. And I actually feel really sad when I open it, because for many years,
Facebook it was a place of joy.
It was a place of joy, and it's where my people always were. And I had an ambient, and still have to a certain extent, an ambient awareness of what 1,600 people who I've known throughout my life were doing. And they, kept up with my kids and their art. And it was always locked just to friends. It always has been. Every now and then I'll make a public post about writing that I do. But after the election, I had so many friends who were finally like, enough. And they left the Meta properties, especially Facebook and some Instagram as well. And I had this whole community on Medium of writers, right, who were reading me regularly. I was reading them regularly. It didn't have that same sense of connection of social media where you could make these micro posts and talk about personal things. But in terms of sharing our creative outputs, for a couple of years, Medium was that place for me. And then early this year came to Substack. And I'd like to point out, Lawrence and I made our first posts on Gen XE in early February. So to avoid, basically, right? We had nothing here yet. So all of these changes you're talking about, we've been growing in them. We never knew it before.
Right. March 8th was like our serious go live date. And you know what it makes me think is, so the left is basically we're the ones who are wandering through the desert looking for a home, right? Because we're looking for a place where we can do what Dana said, build a community and have some online safety. The right is allowed to flourish everywhere that they go. And Truth Social got built by Trump so that they would have a place. Elon Musk bought Twitter so that the right would have a place to flourish. It's we on the left who are trying to find a space where we can actually grow community. But to Dana's point, every couple of years we get pushed out and forced to go someplace else because the last place got bought by somebody, or capitalism went full Hunger Games and decided to push us out.
Well, part of it is that when it becomes pay to play, the right has unlimited funding.
Right.
That's why they dominate Facebook, because Facebook is pay to play and they have unlimited funding. That's why they're the top 10 Facebook pages are almost all right wing, because they could it doesn't matter if the site itself makes money. They have unlimited funding to just pay for the PR. So they'll pour in hundreds of millions of dollars and just lose that money, because they know they're not paying to build a profitable enterprise. they're paying for the publicity, for for the propaganda.
For
And we on
public
the left,
opinion.
yeah, we don't do that, which is why we are losing that particular aspect of the war. Like, we don't have a Fox News
Right.
because Fox News lost hundreds of millions of dollars for years because its function was to push propaganda, not to deliver news. It wasn't there to make a profit. It wasn't there to deliver news. It was there to deliver propaganda.
That makes them able to play a far longer game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. How do we organize? How do we push back? How do we rise up and rebel if we are constantly wandering through the desert eating matzah?
And and not only that, Lawrence, making in our own very small ways, making money
Right.
for the fascists who ultimately own right where we're speaking, right?
Right.
I mean, we just
Um,
have to keep doing what we're doing with grassroots. I mean, not for nothing. Like to what you were saying before, Dana, this is my fourth time rebuilding my audience. Fourth time. I lost it twice on Facebook. No, sorry. Twice on Facebook, once on the Daily Banter, again on the Banter. I had my own website for a short time, but then Facebook blew that up too. So
yeah,
actually, this might be my fifth time now. So yeah, I've had huge
right.
audiences. Like, some of my articles, like I wrote an article called Republican Jesus way back in the day. That was like one of my first articles that had millions of views, and it doesn't exist anymore. It's almost impossible to find online now
Yeah.
because it's just been erased over
Because
time.
because you erased it intentionally to protect your safety.
No, actually, the site that it was on, Addicting Info, doesn't exist anymore.
Uh,
Oh,
So that it just disappeared.
that's
So
so
that all went away. And some of the people who follow someone when I popped up on Substack, some of the people who followed me here, well, they didn't follow me here, but they recognized me and were like, "Holy shit, you're from Addicting Info, blah blah blah," from like 15 years ago. And I was like, "Oh shit, people actually recognized me." So there are some people who still recognize me, which I was like,
even as
"Well,
an
that's kind of
ogre.
cool."
Yeah.
But that was one of the reasons when I changed it to Opinionated Ogre. Some people still know who I am, but most people were just gonna forget my name. Like, I knew that,
right.
because I'm not. I was never famous. I was always mini famous. So
Right.
I knew they would forget my name because it wasn't that kind of important that it was like, oh, and again, my name's not important. I don't need to be remembered as this was that guy. It's like, no, the message is what's important. That's why I don't mind being a puppet. And that's why I don't mind people not knowing what my real name is. It's not, that part's never been important to me.
Right. Right.
It's not important that, they have to know who I am 10 years from now. They don't got to know who the fuck I am 10 years from now. Well, the only thing that's important is 10 years from now, the stuff I said had an impact and things got better. And after that, if no one remembers who the fuck I am, that's fine. I don't give a shit as long
Right.
as things got better. And I helped do that.
Right. And you've got to protect your family in the meantime, and hence Ogre.
Yep.
I'm thinking about what you're saying here, Ogre, and like I do want to say it does matter because your name, like I hear what you're saying, and you are right. You have the correct perspective. It's wonderful you feel that way, but also this is your life's work, and um, it isn't.
Well, raising the girls is his life's work, right? Like raising the kids.
Yeah, raising my kids is my life work. This is my side gig.
Yeah.
Fighting fascism is my side gig.
Fair. As a mom and all of this for me is my life's work, and um I have removed my last name, my real last name from every social presence over the years because I write about my kids. It doesn't feel safe. I'm going to jump in and research these tools like this week because I haven't officially done it, and I feel like it would be very easy to find me, but my kids depend on me earning a living to keep our lives going.
Right. How
So
do
it
you erase yourself from the internet and still like promote yourself and build an audience?
Yes. So it can be your secondary job. Obviously I feel the same way. My primary job in life is, like keeping these kids alive and thriving to the best of my ability. And also it's like, this is important work. It's important work you're doing. And what a weird thing to feel like it's not safe to do, at least not as one's self.
Right.
Um,
And
yeah.
again, I have that luxury of being like a real life ogre. Like, I'm a big intimidating guy, which, is inconvenient sometimes, but super convenient at other times. You don't have that. Like, you personally don't have that luxury. But that's where an aluminum baseball bat comes in handy.
Yeah, even if I did that, I'm pretty sure someone bigger than me could grab it out of my hands. The problem with weapons like pepper spray and baseball bats is like, yeah, okay. If someone your size is who I'm coming after with it, you would have it out of my hands in mere seconds and be using it against me. That is my worry. So it's and metaphorically, I suppose that happens online too. Of everything feels a bit more worrisome. I don't know. Do we need to make permanent sock puppets too, Lawrence? Eventually, one day, do we need to duck behind?
I I don't know. I honestly kind of whipsaw between sort of this liberating freedom that comes from knowing that I'm probably on every list as, a gay man of Jewish heritage who is outspokenly liberal and who has sex vids out there on the internet that people could probably find. I'm sure that I am,
Bow, chicka, bow,
the
wow.
first on the list. They're like, get rid of this guy for sure. And I don't know some days if that's incredibly liberating or incredibly terrifying. And so I whipsaw back and forth between being terribly afraid and feeling terribly liberated from time to time. So yeah, I just
Some
know if
days are
anyone
like
comes
this.
for me, this little cat, all 7 pounds of her, she's gonna go crazy and defend me.
She's being very cute today, and I think
She's my little familiar, and so yeah, she's gonna show up and cut some bitches with her claws first.
right? Do you get the idea that she's like, this topic, I want you to know you're safe. I
Yeah,
kind
kind
of want
of.
to turn the camera around so you can see how cute my cat's being right there. Do you guys want to see Josie up against the green wall?
We've got 2 minutes. Why not?
Oh my
You
God.
said the magic
Okay.
word,
My
green.
mess.
Aw,
Can you
Oh,
see her sleeping?
yep.
That is my
She looks
very
very
old.
comfy snoozing away.
yeah.
That is my very old diabetic cat who is destroying my home. But I look at her. She's so cute.
She is cute.
Well,
This was a
so
lot,
great.
Ogre. Thank you for coming and talking to us about it. It's yeah, I've got a lot to think about. I think we've all got a lot to think about with the
Yeah.
information that Wendy provided and everything that you've talked about. Interesting times.
Hey, God, I wanted to live in boring times. I wanted to
Right.
be writing about infrastructure. I wanted to be the most boring newsletter on Substack, and people would be like, oh, I don't want to read this anymore. And I'd be like, oh, good. Yay, I can retire.
I
But
would read a newsletter about
no.
infrastructure. If we were, if it was like, hey, let's replace these old bridges and let's build some high speed rail. And yeah, I would read that shit all day.
Yeah,
If
same.
if we could focus on, on important but boring things like that instead of, oh my God, our democracy is,
Right.
dying before our eyes.
Yep, that's what I was hoping for. But yet, and still, next week I'm going to be heading into DC to go take video of fucking, armed and
Oh,
wearing armed troops walking around doing stupid, boring shit because they don't actually have anything to do. But there they are, wandering the streets of Washington D.C. So I have to go take
oh
video of that. Can't wait. Very excited.
oh my gosh. I'm eager to see that. Be safe, Ogre. We
Well,
need
I'm
you
sure I'll
around.
be fine. I'm a big, tall, white guy. They're not going to look twice at me unless I
Yeah, I
throw a
hope.
sandwich at them.
Right. I mean, it depends. Is it a good sandwich?
What, you didn't see the Subway video?
I didn't.
Oh my God! Some drunk guy, some drunk white guy in a pink shirt was screaming at a bunch of FBI agents in full tactical gear, and he threw his Subway sandwich at one of them and then ran away. It was the Subway sandwich heard around the world. It's hilarious.
Oh
Right.
my god.
Nice.
It's
And
just
they
a
changed
Subway.
their tuna. I'm telling you, go investigate that. You
It was
monsters.
it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Yeah, no, it's on Blue Sky. It's you got to go find it. It just type in FBI Subway, and you should be able to find it. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh,
We
poor
will
Subway. First Jared, and then that. Well, I mean, first the terrible sandwiches, and then Jared, and then that.
I'm gonna defend Subway a little. I think their sandwiches are utterly mediocre and fine, and sometimes, especially if you're traveling, it's there are fresh vegetables you could put on them. I'm gonna give
Yep,
them an okay.
Morgan
yep,
said
no,
they
they're
caught him and
tasty.
charged
I'll eat
him
them.
with a felony,
Really?
a sandwich-based felony.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Assault? They must have charged him with assault. They had
I
to have.
I mean, it
Assault with a
depends.
deadly sandwich.
Did it have
It's always
nice
a
hot honey
delicious
on the
weapon.
sandwich? Because that shit is basically like pepper spray. Like you get that in your eyes.
Right, was there a little sriracha in the mayo? My eyes!
Right. Oh God, my eyes.
The
It
sandwich didn't
tastes
even
like
open.
burning.
The wrapper didn't even open. It just bounced off the guy's chest and he just ran away. It was like, good God.
On that happy note, Ogre, it is always such a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you
Thank you.
for
Thank
coming
you.
on and thank you for being so outspoken. Keep
And
doing what you're doing. Keep
thank
shining a
you
light in dark spots.
for being a friend.
Who is this
Okay.
ogre? Who is this ogre you speak of? I know
Right.
not.
Oh, it's Abraham Lincoln.
Ograham Lincoln.
Ogre
Thank
Ham
you.
Abraham
Lincoln.
Lincoln. Oh my God, yes. Oh,
Thank you.
Dana, you just won today.
Good.
We will free this country.
Oh my God.
All right.
Overstore and
Right.
7
A
subways
house
ago.
divided against itself cannot. I mean, yeah, you know.
A swamp
All right.
divided against itself cannot stand.
100%. We are gonna have to sign off. Sasha and Rich, some friends of ours,
Yes.
friends of the whatever, they are both in France as expats and they have connected and they are live right now with their new podcast. Y'all should go check them out because they are delightful humans living that life.
Yeah.
They're just
They
living in
they
France.
they snuck away. Yeah, they're happily living in France. So let's all go watch and dream. Thanks,
Yay.
Ogre. Thanks, everybody.
Au revoir.
Love you,
Yay.
mean it. Au
Love you,
revoir.
mean
Au
it.
revoir.
Bye.
Bye.
Oops. Am I?